Hello viewers, welcome to another exciting edition of the AAU Talks, coming to you live on the television station of the Association of African Universities. Today we are discussing a research methods workshop series which the AAU has been organizing. We want to try to understand what exactly this workshop is for, who are the target participants, what impact has it been making, and when the next ones are being organized and all of that. Joining me to actually throw further light on this workshop series is Dr. Violet Makuku, who is a quality assurance specialist here at the Association of African Universities. She's also a project officer for the Hacker project. Welcome to the studio, Doc.
Thank you, Felicia.
I'm happy to host you again.
Thank you once again.
Okay. So, Doc, can you please tell us a little bit about this workshop series?
Okay, thank you, Felicia. This workshop series is on trying to retool and upscale faculty and students on the research methods for the 21st century.
Okay.
And when we do it, it also helps to bring a shared vision among faculty, because you would realize that in some instances, if a lecturer is not feeling well and he or she is supervising like 5-10 students, they will wait for him or her until he or she gets well. Because he has got his own way of doing things. And the others are even scared of doing it or helping them supervise. Even if they get sick for a month, those students will still suffer.
But what is the best practice?
It's these workshops, because when we do it like in an institution or a number of people come to represent an institution, they end up with a shared vision of the vocabulary in research. They always argue about that. They argue about other things like the research design. They argue about everything to do with research and say what we have done is wrong.
Among themselves.
Among themselves, and this is a common phenomenon. But the person who ends up suffering is the student. But with that, we help them also to improve student research supervision and marking of research projects. Because when somebody who is reading ahead, including the students, they approach the lecturer to say there's this new data collection method which I want to use, but the lecturer is angry and is victimizing
because he himself doesn't know, or he's not an expert in using it, or he hasn't used it before, right?
No, they are not reading to check what is new in the research methods field. And so in that way, they feel insulted by students. So we are saying if they are not reading, we will do it on their behalf, and at the end of the workshops, we give them the workshop materials for two things: to refer to them when they are back, and also to replicate the workshops. But there are more things to it that we do these research workshops, because in them we are also discussing about what they do with researches which students do.
That is after they come out with the final research findings, you know?
Yes.
What happens to them?
Oh, some students do very good and relevant researches, but they are piled up in libraries and in faculty offices. Instead of them taking them to the respective industry or related area of study, so that they can be taken up and implemented. You know, relevant research, it needs to solve
a problem, a societal problem.
Socio-economic problems. Thank you, Felicia. That's right. But it's not happening. I've seen students struggling. You know, I've told you, I've also been a lecturer for more than 15 years. I've seen students struggling to get research topics. I've seen them also doing it for the sake of graduating.
But there are several problems all over on our continent, even in their communities.
Thank you, Felicia. But they are not getting back to their communities. And let's say it's a tourism. They need to link up with the hospitality industry. And already that linkage gives us a university industry linkage through research.
Exactly.
You know, I wanted to give you one example.
Okay.
I went to Durban University of Technology for an institutional evaluation. It was quite interesting to note that initially they volunteered to do research for Tongat Ulets. It's a sugar production company.
For what?
Research for the sugar production company.
Called Tongat Unit.
Tongat Ulets.
Okay.
Yes. So what they did is they researched about sugarcane diseases. They researched about the equipment that is used. They researched about the soils and herbicides that were being used and their effect. And they forwarded this to Tongat Ulets, the company for sugar production. In return, it started with volunteering, but in return, they started getting places for internship for their students. Those who will have completed and had done researches related to that sugar production.
They took them on.
Thank you, Felicia. They employed them and they built them laboratories.
Great.
Bought them equipment. And so can you see already
how
that
strong
there is a strong
linkage, university industry linkages. Okay.
So this is part of what we also cover there. I know there are some workshops on communicating research results in AAU.
Okay.
Those ones are long, but also in these workshops, we also take part of it.
Okay.
Just to give them light, to say, do you know that you need to communicate these results and recommendations and not keep them. The issue of patenting also.
Exactly,
and
their rights and all of that.
There is a longer workshop which is in AAU, but we also take just a bit of it to shed light on what they can do about researches, the opportunities they are losing, which they can grab.
So Doc, what actually informed this workshop? Did you identify a specific problem? Was there any survey which was undertaken?
Yes.
Okay.
At AAU, we just do not do workshops or interventions for the sake of doing it.
Sure.
We do research, and we also do desk research, and we also do online researches. For example, even when we are advertising this workshop, there's an online registration link. I think it's there. And when they do the registration, there are two questions where we are asking them, what do you want to be covered most in this research methods workshop for the 21st century? And we say, what else do you think you would want covered in this workshop? So again, that is another way where we are collecting relevant information to inform us of the direction which our workshops need to go.
Their capacity building needs.
Thank you
of the institution.
Yes, thank you very much, Felicia. So in some cases, some would even want to know more about the softwares, how to use them and what. But we say in 4 or 5 days, we are normally covering the basics and the other key problematic areas which we have seen recurring and cross-cutting within the universities as problematic areas.
Exactly. So still on the issue of these problematic areas, with this research methods workshop series, what problem are we really trying to solve?
There are numerous problems. Initially, I've talked to you about the shared vision. Where they need to understand the research language. You know, people come from different universities. They read literature on research from different authors. And it's very sad to say, I undertook a research on how authors write these things, materials on research methods. Some are using a different terminology to mean this, and this brings a mix-up with the readers and the users of that information. And so they end up arguing. But for somebody who has got a strong knowledge of the research methods, knowledge and skills, you would really know that this one, they are trying to mean this. Or this one it will cause a mix-up. It's just one or two authors. That is why, you know, when we do everything in academia, we want to quote the source according to so and so. I just want to give you one simple example where people have argued to say a case study research design. There is nothing like that.
A case study research design.
No. We have the experimental, we have the surveys, but within all those different research designs, people pick cases
studies,
for many reasons: time constraints, expense, and the time within which they need to bring about the results and the recommendations. So people pick cases. But you find that some authors of research
states
methods
that as one of the methods.
And when you sit down and reflect and think about it, you will end up convincing yourself that a case study is just a case, but it's not one of the research designs.
All right, Doc. So we'll come back to you. Viewers, we've been discussing the Research Methods Workshop series being organized by the Association of African Universities. We'll go for a short break and then we'll continue the discussion afterwards. Don't go anywhere. Do stay tuned.
One of the universities set up in our pre-independence era, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Our international reputation has and continues to soar as a reference point in matters of science and technology, research and education. We believe that the future belongs to those who have sound technology acumen.
I love USD.
I love KNUST.
Welcome back from the short break. We are still on our discussion focusing on the Research Methods Workshop series, which the Association of African Universities has been organizing. And still with me in the studio is Dr. Violet Makuku, who is a quality assurance specialist here at the AAU, and who is also at the forefront of the organization, forefront in the organization of these workshops. So, Doc, just before the break, you were still telling us about some of the objectives of this workshop. If you can briefly finish that portion up, and then we can continue.
Thank you, Felicia. I told you that at AAU we just don't do interventions and workshops with no prior informing background. When we also did our research on aspect of the research methods, we realized that some people talk about the lecturer who took me for this course was confused, did not know what he or she was doing. I only understood it later when I graduated. Can you see that? And for me too, there are times when maybe you would interact, just social interaction, and you still continue to hear this thing coming up. So they still need to find somewhere where they can do like corrections of what they missed from that lecturer. When you are allocated a lecturer, what can you do? If you complain much, you will also be a victim. But in some cases, some institutions, because of quality assurance, they follow up with investigations and maybe help to improve the situation. Then the other thing is that you realize
another objective of the workshop.
Yeah, why we do it again is that you know, as a quality assurance specialist, I've learned a lot about academic dishonesty. And within this thing, people are paying somebody to do the research project for them. Maybe at undergrad, it's more prevalent. And then as we go maybe to masters, if they realize their supervisor also is not following up what they are doing, and they don't have checks and balances, they still pay somebody to do it for them. So when they now come to do their masters and PhD, they are struggling.
I know.
Because they are not the ones who did it. So we forgive them and we are there to move on.
Okay.
So these are some of the real
objectives. Okay, Doc, when is actually the next workshop being held? You've organized some before, right?
Yes.
Can you briefly talk about some of the previous ones that has been organized, and then you tell us about the next one?
Okay, the most recent previous one was in Zimbabwe,
Okay.
28 to 31st May.
Okay.
It was a good one. Again, people really enjoyed it, but they want more of applied research to come on board.
Apart from Zimbabwe, where else did you organize?
We did it in Ghana too.
Okay.
We did it in Uganda.
Okay, that's
and
good.
Zambia.
Okay, so can you tell us about the next one, the dates and the venue and all of that? And if I'm interested, how do I get involved?
Thank you very much, Felicia. The next one is quite coming soon.
Okay.
It's
when
coming on the 3rd to the 6th of July,
next
2018.
Okay.
In Lusaka, Zambia.
Okay.
Waterfalls Hotel. My contact details are there for more information.
Okay.
But we also have our registration link that they can use. So the registration link is there.
Okay.
And
it's there on your screen.
Yes,
so
it's there on the screen. And then also the contact details are there.
Okay.
Don't worry about visa if you are coming from SADC region.
Okay.
Because to Zambia you go without visa.
But if I'm from another
you
region,
do online application of visa and you
Okay.
can get a visa on arrival.
Okay.
But you can also quickly get a response that can enable you to board your flight because some flights will not allow you to come. So you are most welcome, all of you.
Okay.
Thank
so
you.
what should we expect at this workshop?
We are centered on practical activities, Felicia, because these are more important that they encourage deep learning. We also encourage even those who are in the research and postgraduate center, postgraduate students who are doing masters and PhDs. Some of them are even lecturers.
Okay.
They are most welcome
Okay.
because this is the opportunity. Those also who are supervising and taking care of the postgraduate studies are most welcome because you always find something new to do.
Okay.
As we have people coming from different countries, there's cross-pollination of ideas.
It's true.
How they've managed also to circumvent some of the challenges.
The problems.
Because we discuss real problems
Okay.
that institutions are facing, despite also giving light to what is new.
Okay.
We have the mixed methods, and we usually had the extreme qualitative and extreme quantitative, and some are resistant.
Okay.
They want to remain in their domains,
I
but
can
the
imagine.
world is moving. So if there's a grant proposal which is requesting you to use the mixed methods, what will you do? So we want to allow them to come, to make them comfortable. And then after every workshop, we give out all the presentations to the participants
for
2
further
reasons.
studies or
Yes.
something. Okay.
Thank you.
Doc, are these expensive, or all that information about the cost is in the link you shared? It's available there?
No, for local people, I think it's 300 or 350 for Zambians. Because we
Which
want
currency?
US dollars.
Okay. Fine.
Because we want to encourage participation.
Okay.
But even in Zambia, we accept their local currency
Okay.
because we are going to use it to pay for the venue, for the conference package,
Okay.
and for the certificates.
Okay.
Please, we give certificates.
Okay.
And I think these certificates, because they are from the highest higher education continental body, they will be of value
highly
to you,
recognized,
highly
as well.
recognized for promotion or otherwise. And you have evidence.
And then for international participants?
For international participants, I think it's between 400 and 450. Because we have AAU members. They pay less by $50, so it will be 400.
As a benefit of their membership.
Their membership.
Okay.
And those who are not AAU members, they pay 450. But for these workshops, whether you are an AAU member or not, as an institution, you are still welcome, because the Association of African Universities is meant to save higher education in Africa,
on the continent,
in the continent, and to improve the quality of research, teaching and learning, quality assurance in the universities, so that we upgrade the quality of higher education in Africa.
So we'll take your final words if you just look into the camera and then you talk to listeners, and then we can end the show.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We just want to encourage you to patronize our workshops, because they are well prepared for. They are responding to your needs, and you are most welcome. Please, for this one, register. The registration link is there, and attend. If you cannot attend, maybe as a vice chancellor or as an administrator, send the relevant people who are in constant contact with students, or your lecturers who are doing masters and PhDs. That will be fine. Thank you very much.
All right, viewers, thanks for staying tuned to listening to this discussion. We've had a very exciting discussion on the Research Methods Workshop Series, which the Association of African Universities has been organizing. And my guest on this show has been Dr. Violet Makuku, who has encouraged all of us to ensure we attend the next workshop on research methods, which is coming on in July in Zambia. Make sure you are there in your numbers, and make sure it's not only one person from one institution attending, but quite a number of faculty members are all there to be able to get these skills, to be able to transfer and to use it in our lecturing and in doing our work in the academia. My name is Felicia Kuagbedzi, and this has been the AAU Talk, bringing this to you live on the AAU TV. Thanks for staying tuned, and do stay for the rest of our exciting program. Thank you. Have a lovely day.